when we're talking, this is like gymnastic term. When you are doing all your stuff, the landing is the piece that everybody, no matter how you start, but the landing is very, very important. And it says here, inauguration, landing, execution. What does this say about the next 6 years? If we cannot get this landing straight or right, okay, how do we expect the next 6 years to be? What is your expectation when everything is being bungled? The foundation is what determines the building or the facility of the structure. This foundation is terrible. What do you see, my friend?
So right now, there are three things that are really, really concerning me. There are three things. The first thing is the secrecy. Everything is secret. And it's scary. It's very scary. We really thought we're coming to an age of transparency, because with transparency comes accountability. But everything is secret. How much money was allocated for the inauguration? Some people say 650,000. Some people say the money came, the money has not come. Some people say the money is trickling in. Nobody really knows. Nobody can give us an official, definite information. Where is the money being spent? Nobody knows. There are rumors that each county getting 10,000, and then each district in Monserrato getting 5,000. Who's receiving the money in a district? What is the term of reference to that money? What exactly is supposed to happen? What part of the county is this money being allocated? Let me give you an example. Nima County. You say you're giving 10,000 for the people in Nima to celebrate. Now, which part of Nima? The Kanta, the Yekeba, the Sanikwele? You know what I mean? It's like nobody really knows what's going on. Even if you get 10,000 to Lofa, now which part of Lofa celebrating? You know, who's responsible for the people's money? 10,000 for a poor country is not something small. And then when you turn around again and you say, okay, 17 districts in Monserrato, who in the district receiving this money? We don't have any district. The rumors I hear is that Unity Party district chairmen are receiving this money. Really? Are you guys kidding me? Is this what we want now? Right. That United Party political zona or district chairmen are the ones that are being given government funds to have party? What kind of party is it going to have? How inclusive is that going to be? And nobody can say anything to us. The second thing that worries me is nobody seems to be in charge. Everybody doing their own thing. I hear there are going to be almost 19 different balls after inauguration. Everybody having their own party. Friends of Joseph Boakai, schoolmate of Joseph Boakai, churchmate of Joseph Boakai, neighbors of Joseph Boakai, those who were there when he first entered government of Joseph Boakai. Everybody having ball. I mean, it's so chaotic. You know, that is not even funny. You know, and if the last thing that worries me is the unaccountability. You know, I will tell you something. Corruption starts with secrecy. That's where corruption starts. And we are going, nobody, I can bet my life on this. This $650,000, there will be no accountability. Come Tuesday, they're going to tell us, oh, no, we're finished with that team and we're moving on. You're stuck in the past and you won't be criticizing us. There will be no accountability. There will be no report giving. There will be nothing that we can sit there and say, this is what the money was spent on. And we'll sit here next week and I will bring this particular topic up and you guys will see it for yourself.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please share the show. I know there's a comment here that I have to respond to record. The person says, what happened to the Unity Policy representative on this show?
I thought Mr. Kamara in the back.
Yeah, the person is afraid that Unity Party will not get a fair shake. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been sending out invitation after invitation to as many Unity Parties as we can find. And for reason unbeknown to me, we can't find them anymore after the election. I mean, before the election, they were everywhere. We,
They're
I
all in
mean,
Liberia for inauguration.
it's like now polling truth. You cannot find a unity party saying when they come on the show here, they will tell you they're having problem with the equipment, they in the back room, they don't want to come. Then you hear somebody text me and say, "We knew you were going to lambast Joseph Boakai today. That's why we ain't coming." Can you imagine that, Mr. Elvis? Here we are. Here we are talking about this gone elections. These people show themselves as the most incompetent, the most loyal. In fact, anybody who spoke against Joseph Boakai, you are not patriot. You don't love the country. And this is a man who was wise. He been in government so much, has so much experience. And then when he comes, this country, he said, I'm going to run the only thing I trust Joseph Boakai, he said, under my leadership, Liberia will be a different country. He hit it right from the beginning. Liberia has become a different country under Joseph Boakai without even taking the first step. The first thing he did was his home is being renovated or rebuilt. Nobody know who's doing that. What the Kamara said, anything he does before he takes office on Tuesday, you can't hold him responsible. The gentleman went to Totota. He donated 10 million Liberian dollar plus 100 bags or 200 bags, all right, and said, this is my initial contribution from my wife and myself. And then Patterson began to ask, where did you get 10 million Liberian dollars from a man who have been so poor? Meager beginning, poor beginning, humble beginning, unto the point where he lived on loan. Mr. Tavo, I know
No,
the folks have seen
Mr. Gabriel, you come to me, then you skip over me. Let me get my
okay,
CFP.
go ahead, Mr. Elvis. Go ahead.
Look, I want to give Joseph Boyka all the due respect, right? But I think in this regard, he shows some form of naivety for a man who should be clothed in wisdom and many years of experience. If you give Liberian man $5,000, an individual, US dollar in this time of day in Liberia, and you think that you're going to be honest with that money just because your name is Joseph Boyka and you're not going to be corrupt with it, you're deceiving yourself. And that's exactly what we're seeing. But Joseph Boyka, of all people who claim to be a man of integrity, this is a man who's going to watch over all of our monies, and he's giving 5,000 to the people in Monrovia. And it's a sign of cronyism, just as Mr. Padmore said, because these are partisans of Unity Party. It's almost like a thank you for supporting us during the election. For an entire district, for $5,000, what is it supposed to do? Go buy kuwe, go jolly, go fry rice and fry fish, so the people can eat? What exactly is the money supposed to be used for? You didn't spell it out. If they're supposed to go to a gathering, bring chairs so people can watch the inauguration on TV. I don't know what it's for. What exactly is it supposed to be used for? So these guys, in their own wisdom, say, well, man, we'll share the money amongst ourselves. Y'all go celebrate your own communities, because what exactly are we going to do with $5,000 for an entire district where you have maybe tens of thousands of people? What are you going to do with that money? So that was one of the most naive thing I think President-elect Boyka could have done, with such amount, a lump sum of money to give just to a few people to do what way we don't really even understand what the purpose of it was. The next thing is his tax, his not his tax, but his asset declaration. We've been talking about it. Look, I'm a supporter of President Weah. He never came into politics claiming that he's the man with clean hands. Never came into politics claiming that he's the man that don't have any friends who have quote unquote untarnished reputation. So we know him for who he is. I like honest people. Tell me who you are, and I'll believe you. So when you come and tell me you're a male of integrity, matter of fact, you want a vice president that represents you, who is somebody in your own image, and then you pick Jeremiah Kuhn. But now you say that you will declare your taxes before the election. Matter of fact, the new law calls for that. You should declare your asset before you take office. Before you take office. So not after you take office and then you say, okay, let's do the declaration. So if you want to do things different than President Weah, you want to quote unquote be better than him in every aspect, you have to do the things that he didn't do. And right now, he didn't declare his assets because, for example, that very house that he's building right now, we know in this country when you add a little kitchen to your house, you add a little bathroom, You do a little landscaping, it adds value to your house. The property, value goes up. So if his house was worth $100,000, whatever renovation they're doing on it now is going to probably be worth double or triple that amount. So for him to accurately, declare his assets, we have to know what the money on the house is costing to renovate, what the value would be, the added value, all of these different things. This guy is a man who is crying that he's going to be somebody who is going to be transparent. I said on this show before, the opacity of this government is already starting to show before they even get into office. Everything is like a black shadow. You can't see through it. Everything is so opaque. So for me, I don't want to bash him. I want to give him some leeway. But just from the get-go, you can tell we're going to be in the dark, especially for those of us who wants to hold this government accountable. And I think that's a bad sign for this Boakai government before they even take office. I'll leave it there.
Mr. Tower, we got,
Yes, sir.
and I'm going to go to Mr. Pano after you here because he and I may have something in common here, which is for the first time, someone called me and said, turn to Spoon last night, and I did. And my sister Glennis Jennings was on there, and they published a listing of the budget. And even Stanton Witherspoon himself got so upset that they are spending almost $100,000 on entertainment. One ball $35,000, one ball $45,000, another ball $30,000, and they spend $25,000 to a foreign company out of Sierra Leone. They are called Cribs International. They are entertainers. They were given $25,000 to come and set up the stage and provide sound and all of these things. So we are here talking about Liberia. What was it? Bill Liberia, love Liberia, something Liberia.
Yeah, think Liberia, love Liberia, Bill Liberia.
That's correct.
But Spain said,
yeah, but you spend $25,000 to a company in Sierra Leone to come and do your stage, your sound. There's nobody in Liberia that what is the hip? You know, when on one of the shows with Dennis John, I said that Joseph Boakai was a fraud, and he said, "What's your language?" And I said, "Okay, let me define what fraud is. Fraud is misrepresenting the fact to deceive people. That's fraud. There are two kinds of fraud. There's criminal fraud where you steal directly from somebody, or where you misrepresented the fact to get an advantage. And this is what it is. Either way, it's fraud. You are going to Ghana, you are getting somebody to come and bring speakers. Speakers, my friend.
It's a way to launder money, Mr. Gilman. It's that simple. We see between the lines.
We know this. And we are seeing, I saw photographs of motorbikes from Ghana, police motorcycle, motorbike coming in and doing all kinds of drugs. This is what we did. And the folks said, we was so unpatriotic. Why would you go to Ghana to borrow or Guinea to borrow motorbike and the police coming and doing drill? These things should never happen. And here we are. We are talking about a repeat. This is a rerun of the old Simba show. Sir, go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you for this question. I think when I first came on the panel and we had our first discussion, we were talking about government and stuff like that. I mentioned it here that the entire governance structure, the way the whole thing is set up, is corrupt. It doesn't matter who we put in there as president. It is the system and it is the structure. Morris just said something here. You know, we try to talk at these stages of things, right? But the question should start: who's behind the political parties? Who fund them? Who's sponsoring them? Because you see, we see this stuff. Oh, when they give 5,000 here, oh, this one is not right. No. They know what they're doing. Mr. Padmo just said corruption when stuff become opaque, when it becomes secrecy, right? That is what you see here. The money is not being taken to I just calculated just from a projection, it's like $250,000, $225,000. If they give 5,000 to 17 districts and then 10,000 to the other 14 counties, right? Okay. This money is being handed out to people. People are already who they feel that they owe some kind of debt to. Because in the first place, people, the inauguration is supposed to be held only in one area. Anybody else in the district, in the community, in the counties, watch TV or listen to radio. What chairs are they going to buy? They already live there. They have chairs. They have tables. So what is the money for? It's corruption. If that happens, it's corruption. They're moving money to pay people off and to say, hey, they're settling people. That is what this is. The next one is going to free time. You see, each time, one of our problems, you see why almost all the governments deal with Lebanese and Indians. That's a way to move money because those people have nothing to really fight for. So they're the vehicle through which you can launder money. So when you go into Freetown and to Ghana to get motorbike and to get speaker, they're placing this money into places that then the rightful owners going to come in and collect it. The front people are going to get a little percentage, but the money is going to be collected on the back end. This is what we are seeing here. I mentioned here before that this government is going to be worse than the Weah government. Kamara, because me, I'm not a partisan. I look at the pattern of stuff and how the democracy that they're giving or how the whole thing works. It's corrupt. It's meant to be corrupt. Whenever you run for office, you are indebted to investors, into the campaign, into everything else. You have to pay them off. People don't come into office generally to serve. They come there to get rich. This is the problem that we have in Mr. Gaiman. So to your question, you were here before. I mentioned it. This government is going to be corrupt. This old man is corrupt. The old man lived right in the area where I grew up. They have the market women that sell right in front of his place, and his house is like this. For 12 years, he drove over there. The people were selling in the rain. The vice presidential office had a budget, community project. These people are in his community. Not a single penny, not even a little zinc shack he could put over them. It was in 2017. I was in Labrador at that time. When he tried to campaign, he tried to stop it, they drove him away. So those are just common examples. So somebody say, I know Boakai. I know it's not about even Boakai because I don't have anything against the person or we are or any of these people. The way the system is designed and it is structured is corrupt, and they attract people who come there for them to get rich. And that's just it. So the whole thing we are seeing, they're moving money to settle people.
Right.
And then one question: if the inauguration budget is 650,000, right? And if 225,000 already gone just to the districts, and they're bringing motorbikes and 25,000, their money have to be more. How much is it? Because you can't be bringing people from Ghana for 1,000. You can be bringing people from all over the place. So how much is this actual budget? It has to be more. This stuff probably in the millions.
Yeah, because you spend 30 almost 30% of your money just sharing it to have inauguration. You're talking
Yes.
600,000. You spend almost 300,000 just on giving money to the district, bringing motorcycle in the country. Come on.
It has to be in the millions.
Mr. Padmore, Mo Ali posted on his page that even he and most of the hierarchy of the Unity Party have not even gotten invites, and they are saying, people are saying that the Ministry of Public Works was supposed to print the invite. Can you imagine this? Who in the world would say the Ministry of Public Works? Public Works. So here we are. There's the defender of Joseph Boakai saying it's the job we are government that have not given the money. But then on the other hand, the Spoon and Glennis are putting up the expenditure sheet. And the one that Glennis was concerned about was, I think, was $37,000 in chairs. Chairs and tables.
Yeah.
And Waterspoon, God knows, for me to call Waterspoon, I got to be pinching my hair off my head. Even he said, the Liberian government have chairs. Our GSA got chairs. We got tables. We got everything you can think about. How can you spend almost $40,000 on chair rental from what? Mr. Palmer, this thing is getting scary because they did print out the entire sheet of where the money is, but the concern was they were not itemized. They would just say $40,000 for chairs and tables. Those of us who are into budget, who running company, when you say $40,000 for chair, you will say 10 or 20 chairs are $5 an hour, $5 a day times 30 chairs, or table $25 a day table times 50 chairs, and that's how you come up with the 40. And then when you finish, you itemize and then you do the gross. But these people just say $40,000 for chairs and tables. Now you tell me in Liberia, are they telling me they're going to Sierra Leone too to rent tables and chairs?
They might have to.
Mr. Clement, every year, the Speaker of the House, every year the Speaker of the House invites the President of the Republic of Liberia to Congress or to the full sitting of the legislature, right, to deliver his State of the Nation address. That on the floor they consider this ever. That on the floor they consider that wasn't going to use to talk. There is no difference between the State of the Nation and the inauguration. There is no difference. That is same 6 and 7. It's the same Capitol building. It's in the same under the same rotunda. It's the same number of people. There's nothing different. So last year, when President Weah did his State of the Nation address, did they have to both borrow a chair? Look, the place officially seats 400 people. Even if you say 800, let's get double it. 800 people. Each chair at 40,000 is $50. $50 for each chair that is sitting on. This is United Party. What is strange here? United Party, they put a bank around no car. United Party. This is how they steal. This is how they steal. They steal.
Sophisticated thieves.
They don't go and break the window.
Right.
They pass through the front door, and I will take the money from. And they will tell you, say, we pay, and who they rented that chair for, you will never hear that name. You all will tell you, say, we rented chairs. Move on. This is where we are. United Party. You know, it's sad. It's truly sad. And this is the first occasion. You guys 6 years to steal. And the first occasion we start stealing for rest.
What is that doing? Rest here.
They say from day one, we'll start stealing. We're not making any kind of to do yet. You know, in this public manner, I will call on my senator, Senator Darius Dillon, who is insisting on line item budget to insist that this inauguration committee submit to the Senate a line item budget of what they did with the Liberian people money. I will do this in this public manner.
Great. Mr. Legend, I like that name, Legend. I won't call you Wesley, I just like the name Legend. Legend, welcome.
Oh, my greatest pleasure, my brother. Thank you.
Great. You are Liberian, just like every one of us. We were all born and raised in Liberia. We have witnessed inauguration. We have witnessed coup. We have witnessed war. One thing that is consistent, one thing that is constant. Everybody in Africa will come to Liberia when it comes to hospitality, when it comes to pageantry, when it comes to organization, when it comes to structure, when it comes to these kinds of events. We are the real legends of that. Here we have less than 24 hours, less than 12 hours to inauguration in Liberia. The press does not have a guest list. Who are those coming? Who are they representing? Which countries, which embassies, which organizations? Today, Focus on Liberia was all over the place in Monrovia, and they were asking, who are the guests that are coming to Liberia on this Nothing. He says nothing has been published to us. Everything we are getting is from the foreign website. The United States press release that Linda Greenfield and the delegation of 5 will be coming. They arrived this morning. The Ghanaians say the president was coming. Bio said he was coming, but nothing. There is no program. There is nothing that the folks can say. The press can say, "Okay, this is what." This is strange, Mr. Legend.
Well, firstly, guys, I want to start by setting a premise here, and I share in the sentiments with you all, and with you all, and here is why we are all Liberians, like you initially stated, and we are very passionate about our country. That's why a lot of us sit in the diaspora, and we had a major contribution, one way or the other, in the past election. And so, having said that, I know why you all are so harsh on the incoming government, and you are right. Considering what we've been through over the last 6 years, and my premise here is, I threw myself out there this past election because I was vehemently opposed to George Weah's form of leadership. I thought he was a average or below average president. So because of that reason, I supported the opposition bloc. My first choice was not particularly Joseph Boakai, but the Liberian people has a way of showing you who they want. So if I was to pick somebody to go against, it could have easily been Councillor Gonglo, it could have been Mr. Cummins, it could have been Joseph Boakai, because in my purview, those were our front runners. But the Liberian people, they show up clearly that they wanted GMB. Because of that reason, I was always going to oppose Weah. That's why we stay with Ambassador Boakai. Now, having established that, you all have an idea where I am. So let me join you all to state that we want nothing but the very best for Liberia. But the way in which some of you are stating it, like someone just said, we know for a fact that this government is going to fail, is going to be worse than the Weah's government. I do not share in such feelings.
Mr. Legend, Mr. Legend, a point of correction. Nobody said fail. Nobody ever used
he said more corrupt. That was Mr.
Yeah,
Tao who made that assertion.
it's kind of like just a choice of word. But somebody said this government is going to be a lot more corrupt.
Yes.
Than the Weah's government. I do not see that. I do not. And we'll delve into those things, but that's not my perception. And here is why. I think if you want to bring up this fund that we are questioning today, and rightfully so, then I want to bring up the fact that by the time George Weah became president, it wasn't long into his presidency that he started to show us massive.
Mr. Legend.
You know how that bro work. You can't build us in 1 month. You have to plan it, pre-plan it.
Mr. Legend, we are not here to litigate the past. We are talking about what's happening now, because the premise here that you guys came with was that everything George Weah did, as far as governance was concerned, it was so bad that there was the dawn of a new day. So we are not here to litigate that. What Mr. Kamara said here the last time was, don't hold him responsible until 12 p.m. on Monday. Anything else before that is not part of, and that is not what is happening here. Because from the time this man won the presidency, he has been accorded and awarded all the largesses of a leader and a government official. He was given state security. He was given clearance. He was given SSS. In fact, he was given a budget of $650,000, from which they began to work the same day. As a government official, he is to be accountable to us. That's our money. And he's no longer a unity party. He is the president of the Republic of Liberia. And like the folks say, we used to say, if the Christmas is going to be good, you know it on the eve. This is a common parlance. So you are telling us now that Joseph Boakai, who said he was poor, he had nothing. In fact, Stanton Waterspoon said he would give him $3,000 monthly for stopping to just keep him up. On the same hand, he get 10 million Liberian dollars, 200 bags of rice as a contribution on behalf of he and his wife. This is a man whose home is being rebuilt, they say, by friends of Joseph Boakai, the Lebanese folks. And you say we are harsh on this administration that was coming in with a new day?
Let me hold you right there. Firstly, let's infuse some logic into what you just said. I'm going to take off from your last statement. So when someone become a president, most times you start to find people who see that you are going to win, or you have a highly likelihood of winning. People will start to show support to you. And when I mean people who is financially stable and all of that. So I cannot say with definity, the extent in terms of finance that he has received since becoming president-elect, and all the souls that he's receiving funds from. But for a president-elect to have people behind him with good support, having been a victorious in an election, I'm not surprised. Now, if you want to go deeper into the matter as far as how he obtained, a such amount in a short space of time, that would entails me doing, that would entail my background. I will have to do some investigation in terms of journalism profession, which I'm not doing right now. But I'm just trying to deduce logic so that we all can understand that not because prior to winning an election, he had $5,000 hypothetically. If he had $5,000 in the bank, if after winning an election, he's going to have $5,000 in the bank. And you get what I'm going. He could easily jump from $5,000 in the bank to $2 million in the bank. I'm just speaking logic here. So,
wow. Please allow me to respond to him for a second, Mr. Gaiman. Allow me to respond.
Mr. Morris, Mr. Legend.
Hold on, Morris.
Mr. Legend, please.
I'm going to land on this. Let me give me 1 second. Let me land on this. This is nothing to do with corruption. I'm saying if you were running for an office and you have small money that qualify you to run, if you want, let's say for instance a club presidency, right? Say the best club in Maryland, in the state of Maryland. I'm running for the best Liberian club president. Say Dibamon FC, the best club. You running and I'm running. If I happen to go to the Liberian community in Maryland and say, listen, man, I want to be the president for Dibamon, and I have this XYZ, and I can prove to them that I have a better chance of winning, and eventually I win the election. If I had $100 in the bank, because of the support I've galvanized from those people, I can jump from 100 in the bank to 2,000 in the bank. That's all.
Ridiculous. Mr. Gaiman, please, let me answer him, please. I beg you.
Listen, Mr. Legend, please do not use the word logic. Please.
It is.
No.
It is.
Do not you say in your logic, because that's not
logic.
Now, let me
respond to him, please.
No, listen, before you come in, let me tell you this. I have been campaign manager for major political parties in the United States. In fact, we just completed one. The campaign finance law in this country and the one that we are mimicking in Liberia, it tells, anyway, go ahead before I go there. Go ahead, Elvie.
Don't make my point for me. Look, campaign finance is not your personal finances. You can't put it in your personal bank account. If you have $5,000 there and you work at the next morning, you got $200,000. That's not how it works. Campaign monies should be used for campaign purposes. Political donations should be used for political purposes, not for personal charitable endeavors.
Campaign funds. Thankfully, I did not infer that.
No, but so then what you're implying is corruption. Is pro quo pro. Because if somebody is not giving you a large sum of money because you want office, you think they're giving it to you because they lay your faith, you're looking at a handsome guy. Of course not. They're doing it because they want favors in the future. That's quintessential corruption. That's why we have the emoluments clause. Well, you can't receive a certain amount of money or a certain amount of value from anybody, once you're in political office, because that person is going to want something back from you. So saying that and you infusing the word logic is illogical to even say that, because that's the corruption that you are preaching against President Weah, and now you're saying that you can understand it when somebody do it in favor of Boakai. If they may have 5,000 and then you get 2 million in your account, you don't see that as being corruption. Where is the money coming from? Well wishes? Is that the kind of culture we're running, like, bro, where people can give the president-elect money simply because he got elected?
Mr. Morris,
you should investigate.
Mr. Morris.
No. Why should I have to investigate it? You are an investigative journalist, as you said.
Mr. Morris.
Go ahead.
It's a legend. You're looking bad here. Mr.
No, I
Tabo,
don't.
go ahead.
That's your perception.
Yeah.
Or that's your
So,
purview.
so Mr. Legend, you came on, and apparently you were listening.
I was.
So when we're talking, and it's not my first time of mentioning this, and this has nothing to do with Boakai. This has nothing to do with Wea or Ellen. I have spent almost 30 years of my life looking at the governing system, just how they're set up, and the democracy that we've been introduced to is one of the most corrupt form of governing system, because it is business. It is an era where people bring money to invest behind who could win, and then when that person wins, they come back to collect. So, and then knowing the history of all the same Unity Party people who 12 years ago were just there, and the same guys, and some of them that we know personally, they're very hungry. They've been sleeping on sofa and stuff here in the U.S. These are the guys that are going to be like top people in the incoming government. They're not coming there to serve. So we are looking at the pattern here. So yes, it's going to be corrupt, very corrupt, because even we are in its own corruption that I actually saw, which I was against, did not start like this. Didn't start sharing money right up front in the name of communities. So if you are here and you're a journalist and you're talking about you need to go in, what investigation do you need? Boakai, I know where Boakai lives. I've been there. I grew up in that area right down the street from him. Every time I go, he has a nephew that have a little fish roasting shop right by his house, and we'll go there to eat fish. Okay, so he been in that area. He was vice president for 12 years. What? Vice president can also get killed too, or they need security. Why didn't he expand that place? Why didn't he do anything else? And then they made his president, and they're building the place. That's a sign of corruption. Even if the money was even available to him, let's say if it was his own money, just doing that based on the way in which they said they were coming to power doesn't look good. Why did we criticize Judge Wea? Wea was senator, he played football and all this stuff. He didn't build those duplexes, and he didn't refurbish his house to rebuild it on 9th Street. Then the moment he became president, he started doing it. So whether it was his own money, just the fact that now he was handling public money. So him become president-elect, all of a sudden people are lining up, and you say that they're right for them to start giving money, or it's not an issue, and then you will have to go investigate it, know where the money, it doesn't matter where the money comes from at this time. The precedent that is being set, my brother, we are all Liberians. Let's forget about all this party stuff. Let's forget about support this person. Let us look at Liberia for what it is, and let us call these people out when they're coming in. It's wrong right now, and let's point it out.
Exactly.
Great.
Well,
Mr. Padmore, I hate to do this, but I was the chair of Honorable Delore Hogan Johnson, state representative from Tallahassee, and every 30 days or quarterly, we had to report how much was contributed, who contributed those money, their time, if it's check, the addresses of those people, all had to be, and those people had to be American citizens, and all had to be documented. After our campaign, after she won, whatever was left in the account, we had to make the report. Whatever was left in the account had to be donated to a charity.
To the political party, yeah, or the political party, they have a pact.
Yes, you have to donate the remaining money to any charity of your choice, and the documentation has to be sent to the state. The money is not your personal money. Obviously, Mr. Legend is not well versed when it comes to the politics and all of these. So, Mr. Padmore, this man is saying, yeah, go ahead.
Fine. Thank you. So like I said initially, I was not, definite. I didn't say I know from whence the money had come. I was just trying to state to you that based on, how things unfold, one will have to investigate to know exactly where. I can openly ask any of you here, do you know for a fact where he got the sum of money from to put forward to these people, or
I got it. I got it.
I can guess. He won the lottery. He won the lottery. That's where he got the money from.
I got the answer.
That's why I was not definite.
I got the answer.
Thank you. If you do, that would be lovely for the sake of the audience.
I'm giving it to you right.
So I was just
listen, I'm giving you the answer. I'm giving you the answer right now, Mr. Legend. You say you are a journalist, and the answer is very clear. If you are an incoming government or government official, and by now you do not have a clear record or information dissemination system, then no, we are not assuming. We are assuming that the president does not have it open, Mr. Padmore.
Tim, man, you
are not standing for. I asked something direct. You are giving an analogy.
We are talking about Mr. Padmore, go ahead.
Look, transparency is the greatest fighter to corruption or the suspicion of corruption. You know, and this incoming government has already failed at that. Not only have they failed at that, they're not even trying to make corrections. You know, even people that supported them are asking questions that they cannot answer. You know, Honorable Yeke Koluba asked the same question. You would think this government will answer him. One of the people they depend on heavily for votes. But what did they do? They started calling him names. They say, oh, he crazy, he insane, he didn't get respect for himself. You know, all those things. And you didn't even test it yet. That is the part that getting to me. You haven't even been sworn in yet. But that Brent Post said that from the eve we can know. So that's what we are seeing right now. Look, nobody here is hoping for this government to fail. If this government fails, Liberia fails. So nobody is hoping for that. But at the same time, our eyes are open and we see what we are seeing and we are pointing those things out. If Ambassador Boakai, President-elect Boakai, truly means well for this country, he will hear what is being said and he will make corrections and make them quickly. Or else, there's where we are going to go. And then we'll see whether that 6 year, 12 year, or 24 year.
Well,
that hope for the first 6 years first. But let me get that in a second, please, Mr. Gaming.
Mr. Murray, you have your finger up, so we'll move to the next one. Go ahead.
Yeah, quick. Look, even the appearance of impropriety is bad for incoming government on the optics. You know, Joseph Boakai has cried to us that there's little 800 and change he's supposed to receive in US dollar and then the Liberian dollar. He was not getting it. And he was depending on that money to survive. And George Weah was not giving him his due pension, you know, and he cried on it. So for Mr. Wisse to come and say that it's fine for a man who was living on loans, some people have made arguments that just because he's living on loans is not equivalent to you and I living on loans, because people who got money, who have property, they live on loans, they live on other people's largesse. For you to say that the money that the people of the United States, the Liberians in the diaspora donated to Joseph Boakai, the 300,000, I think it happened twice. After the elections, anything that Leo or the table is for him, that's corruption 101. The intended purpose was for that money to be used for poor washers. If somebody like Gonglo, who I admire greatly, who did the honorable thing when he went to other places where he was assigned to, and the per diem that he was giving was not fully utilized for the purpose it was supposed to be used for, he brought it back and gave it back to the government of Liberia. So for you to insinuate that Joseph Boakai's money that is in his account is leftover money from campaign contribution is corruption in the clearest and most vivid fashion. So you can't say that to us. I don't know, you haven't engaged with you, but I would assume that you made a lot of conjecture about President Weah, that he was corrupt, he was doing this, he was stealing the country money. Without I ever seeing any evidence, without I ever seeing how the money got into his accounts, and you concluded that he was corrupt by stealing the Liberian people money to build his house, to rebuild his house, and to do the things that he was doing in the country. You assume that. But now you're saying you don't know where the money comes from. We should go do the investigation. After all, you're only guessing. but you didn't give President Weah that leeway. So for us, we want to be fair. We will push back when we see hypocrisy. I'll leave it there.
You
Yes,
guys
go
can say,
ahead,
Mr.
Mr.
Legend.
Legend.
Thank you. Well, as I earlier enumerated, I'm gonna say it again. I was in no definite term stating that I knew how Joseph Boakai has amassed such wealth within the space of time. I drew, like my brother Gaiman was doing, I drew an analogy. I gave, I think, an example with myself and Gaiman. If I was running for a club presidency in a particular area, those are all ideas. I do not have the exact facts. If I did, I would be stating here clearly exactly how it is. I'm just trying to state here that to know about those funds, you have to dig deeper and do some background investigation to obtain all of the requisite information from the requisite people aligned with Ambassador Boakai or he himself. Other than that, you just be speculating. Gaiman himself drew an analogy with whatever he's involved with in some institution in the U.S. and he gave a it was very aligning what he stated and it made a lot of sense. But I'm just telling you, no one here today can say the 10K or whatever he gave to those people. I know it came from the funds that he received, the remainder of the campaign funds. I have not heard anyone say that on the
Mr.
platform.
Legend, that's the point. It's dark money. If you don't know where it came from, and
Right.
I don't know, and nobody knows, that's corruption. They call in America, we call it dark money. Mr. Tower.
Yeah, I was just about to make your point because I don't know what Mr. Legend is trying to kind of meander around, saying that we don't know unless we do the investigation. Boakai have been in office all this time. Boakai was vice president. People were drowning on Ralphie Highway. Boakai was vice president. The office of the vice president had a whole bunch of money. He was passing this market. Women were sitting in the rain, sun and rain beating them. He never stopped one day for him to say, for him to bring. Then all of a sudden, he's president elect, and all this money is available. And yeah, it has to. When the guy is president elect, and everything been assigned to him, he's accountable to the state and the people immediately. Anything he do or he does need to be itemized when it comes to money. So I don't know. There is nothing around this to say that we don't know where it came from unless we do invest. There is nothing there. Boakai House is being expanded. It's supposed to. We need to know who is doing this. Where is this coming from? Like Mr. Patmo said, once you start to keep secret and you try, when you are handling state resources and you are in state position or public position, you're already laying the groundwork for corruption. Because look at how corruption works. Once you start it on day one, it's like you dig hole for you to cover hole. So you're not going, now you can't be transparent anymore. Because if you're transparent here, it's going to open this other area up. Then you have to cover the area. So you just stay that way and you continue. I said here before, like on our first podcast, I said, do you know, because I heard, audit the government, do all this stuff. I said, do you know why the We Are government did not audit the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government? When they mentioned it, We Are spoke against it, and everybody that we are all one. It's not because we are all one. It was not because of peace. It's because they had the intention to steal, to loot. I told them here, way after Boakai won, or even before he won, that Boakai government would never ever audit the We Are government. And the reason is because they too have the intention to steal. Look, you have to look at the pattern. They have no intention of setting any kind of premise so that anybody else can penalize them. So if the Boakai government tell you that they will audit anybody, the report they will put out will be so vague and they will have nothing in it because they have the intention also to steal. But to this point right here, Boakai ran around. I saw, I watched your clip. I watched the one that you guys were on with Eastman and Gateman. And there was this point you were trying to raise it, but they were trying to block you. Boakai, they want to say that thereafter and all of this stuff. No, you must declare your asset before you take office. Boakai went around and they played that clip when answering them. He said that he was gonna tomorrow. It's pretty much today in Liberia, almost. Nothing is declared. No asset is declared. None of them. The guys have no intention. So they made all this noise. So my brother, legend, don't put your head on chopping board, will chop it off.
No, I'm not.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Wisse? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, shoot.
Do you believe that Boakai is a man of integrity and is incorruptible?
Well, as far as I've seen, well, he's served government for a lengthy period, and I've heard things about him. I do not have proof about. I want to hold him what I may call at face value. He's shown himself to be someone who has served, and all the things he said, relative to assuming this position has been all logical, and I'm on board with it. I'm waiting to see, and we all like I said, we are passionate about Liberia, and we are not going to sit here.
Please, sir, you are deviating from my question. It's a simple yes or no answer.
I answered the question not because I didn't answer the way you want me.
So what's the answer? Yes.
I said yes. That's a yes.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
Okay, great.
With what I know, with my level of knowledge, I believe he's going to serve.
God, let's move to the next topic. But before we move, let me ask Mr. Legend. I think he was a journalist in Liberia. As a journalist, you still got some of your contacts and everything. Do you have the guest lists as they have been done previous administration? Do you have the guest list that usually given to the press before, like a week in advance, of who are coming, who's not coming to the event?
I can obtain it. I can obtain that in a heartbeat. Like,
do you? I'm asking you. Do you have?
Right this second. I do not have it.
So you don't have it. Okay.
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
But I can obtain it if you want it.
How can you obtain it when it doesn't exist? How can you obtain it?
Mr. Legend, this is the point.
Information that you need,
Mr. Legend,
feasible.
Mr. Legend, I'm reading from one of the Unity Partisans. I'm talking about sympathizer of the Unity Party and the mouthpiece of the Unity Party, Mr. Abdullah Kiatamba. Okay. Kiatamba says, absolutely, there's no information, there's no website, there's no link where anybody in the public can go to readily and say this is what it is. As they were doing during the campaigning time, they were doing everything to, if there was a bounce check here in the government, in real life, they would go and find it and say this is the document. Now that it is time for them, ticket information is not even the spokesperson of the Unity Party, Mr. Mo Ali himself, says he doesn't know where the tickets are, who's in charge. We have Kiatamba saying, do you have a link? Do you have a social media page? When you were doing the campaign, you had your war room. Where can we go to get information on this particular event? There's none. Mr. Padmore, let's transition to the next one. Let's look at the election in the House and the Senate. Where did the Unity Party go wrong that they have been steamrolled in both houses? In fact, the reason I always point to you is not to accuse you, but you and I come from a background where we witness things being done in a particular way, because I'm much older than most of you guys here, most of you guys. But when it comes to things happening, I'm from Basel, so we know how to do these things. Now, here we are. This is, when we're talking about elections, it looks like to me, Unity Party concentrated on only winning the presidency and nothing else. Little did they know that there had to be actual governance. And our political bicameral system means nothing happens from the top until the House and the Senate are gone. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Padmore, the CDC, during the election, the seats that were up in the Senate, the Unity Party won only one Senate seat. The CDC 6. In the House, the CDC won 25. I think 10 or 12 or 15 for Unity Party. Then the people see that the country was speaking, that you can have the presidency, but CDC will run the government. Now we saw the election in the House. President-elect Boakai finally figured it out that The king is naked here. I want the speakership, and I'm willing to spend. Call all these people to the place, $25,000 per piece, and y'all got to give me the seat. He lost. Not only did he lose the speakership, but the deputy speakership. And in government, we say here, you negotiate from the position of strength. The CDC knew their strength. They went into the Senate and had their way by saying, we don't want any election. Everybody is going on white ballot. That's the only way Boakai-Koung Gov't would become pro-10. She acquiesced. And everybody, my first time in my lifetime, even the True We Party used to put people, they were fake people against each other. We are talking about the entire Senate, white ballot, everybody.
Yeah, I'm ashamed for Sir Joseph. He should have stood up and ran in that election.
Listen, Mr. Padmore, white ballot in the Senate, and then the CDC swept the House. What's going on here? How does Unity Party lead?
I don't know. Maybe they'll bring it back. They bring it back the brown envelope. That's what I see. And the secret is, well, I mean, how other way are you going to do it? I mean, because if you listen to Senator Snow appeared on OKFM a few days after the Senate, the first sitting of the 55th of the Senate. And he explained very clearly that all those things were prearranged, that they will allow young people, that actually the Senate was split 15-15. CDC, well, not CDC, but opposition 15, incumbent, or not incumbent, but elected, or UP 15. And they could have put on a serious fight, but they decided that they would relinquish their position, and in return, the United Party were going to give them certain things, and that's why we saw the white ballot Senate, operating.
One crime code, one of those things.
And and the thing is, maybe that would depend on, secrecy and negotiations and giving up things they promise that bring people. We're waiting to see it yet. We are waiting to see, look, we are less than, what did you say? You said we're less than 24 hours away from Joseph Boakai. So by 12 noon tomorrow, we don't know who the chief of police is going to be. We don't know who the justice minister is going to be. We don't know who the information minister is going to be. We don't know who the minister of state for presidential affairs is going to be. There are some very, very key positions in the government. In order for government continuity and a chain of command, certain things need to happen instantaneously. Even if they are only acting in that position, it needs to happen. We haven't heard anything yet. It's so disorganized. And I believe that's how they lost the House, because they were disorganized. That's how, they managed to relinquish all of the things they promised to Liberian people in the Senate, because they were disorganized. That's why we are where we are today. And people will tell you, you go there, the only thing you will see, there are plenty of music and plenty of dancing. But the important things that need to happen for the government to flow tomorrow it's not happening, and it's quite worrisome. We'll see.
Great. Mr. Legend, I am from the great Republic of Grand Bassa County. We are accustomed to custom, to practices, to tradition that is considered internationally acceptable. By this time, the incoming government will have its 4 pillars. The Minister of Information that disseminate information obviously is not happening. We had the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, which is the CEO, the Chief of Staff for the President. We have our contact to the outside world, Foreign Ministry. We have those ministries. We have those things all set, and in particular, defense. We have those 4 pillars, and now in advance, working when we hit the ground. Mr. Legend, you as a journalist, I have not seen anything on your page or anything through you or through anybody. Mr. Anthony C., Mr. Dennis Jai, They were fishing for information in Liberia. There's nothing coming out of Liberia.
Well, to be honest with you, yesterday I was talking to one of my intelligent friends who I prefer to be unnamed on the show, and he expressed the same, and I share in the same thoughts. So I would say this: there are things that are certain people who are a lot closer to the incoming government will be knowledgeable of until you reach them, to obtain such information you may not have. I agree with you all when you say, like the pillows, like, information dissemination, people will be heading out, even if it's a contingent one, it should be set up by now, but that hasn't been done. That I'm on board with, but for which reason, I cannot tell you with definitive, this is why they have not done it, which I don't know. Now, as far as the other things are concerned, like some of your other concerns, let's say, for instance, one of your major concerns, like declaring our access, we'll give it a second and see, it should be done. And we know it should be done. And we know that it's very important. Like my brother Tao said, he foresee this government now auditing the outgoing government because he feels they have the same sinister plans under their sleeves. Who knows? I do not think that way. But like I told a lot of people who are salted right now because they were aligned with CDC, and CDC is outgoing, and they want to see everything done so hastily, and they are pressuring this government to do everything in the next few weeks or month or so. I told them, listen, logically, we allow you all sedition in the first year to do your thing, and onto the second year when you start to show a lot of
Mr. Legend, let me hold you right there. Let me hold you. That's not true. No, that's not true. Because
for any logic, I know you say other people did not.
Mr.
Legend, like me, or level-headed person like me.
No, I can't let you push that.
Why you ascribe all the good things to only yourself? We all level-headed and logical on the platform.
Mr. Legend, I can't allow you to push that. Mr. Padmore, you were here. Mr. Padmore.
I am, but I don't mean I'm not logical or level-headed.
Listen. Mr. Morris,
that's my point you make.
Mr. Legend, please.
I said those who are opposed to the government, who are level-headed, have to give the government a chance.
Listen, sir. I'm not going to take anything from you by saying close to the government. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't be close to government to get information. Mr. Padmore, you were part of the opposition when CDC came in. Our administration came in on the heel of protests from day one.
But Gamer, you did not acknowledge the fact that I said.
Excuse me.
You did not acknowledge the fact that I agree. I agree with the gentleman for saying that.
I'm trying to give you information, Mr. Padmore. CDC came into government. Nobody gave us 1 year. Nobody gave us 2 years. In fact, we began the administration with protests. Protest upon protest upon protest upon protest. Mr. Padmore, you can bear with it because you were in the opposition.
Yeah, they came out with we want our money back. The 16 billion. The protested for it.
Mr. Padmore, you enlighten us here a little bit.
Okay, the first thing, Legend is not a UP for Boakai support. You're start treating the men of Boakai support.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
You're start treating the men of Boakai support.
I think this is my push here is the rational side of things.
Look,
and I know it's not going to slide with
you
guys.
No. Mr. Legend, because you're not saying something that is factual. Go ahead, Mr.
There are people who will approach the government in different ways. There are those who will give the government 1 year. There are people who are even saying they'll give the government 3 years. And others who are saying from day one, we have high expectation. So I will give Mr. Wilson the flexibility to pick his own for his government, but he should not think that will ascribe to all of us.
You are so true. You are so right on that. I agree 100%.
Mr. Padmore,
yes,
Honorable Joseph Boakai himself said, within my first 90 days, there will be no car stock in the entire Republic of Liberia on the road.
Yes, he did say so.
So why should we give Joseph Boakai a year when a man gave himself 90 days?
That's why I said clearly.
Joseph Boakai gave himself 90 days. He gave himself 90 days. Now all the roads, no car will be stuck. In fact, he said the commodity price will go down. Mr. Morris.
Right. Look, I wanted to just disagree with Mr. Wisif. I think one of the things you did that I respect you for is when you first came on the platform, you made your position clear that you're a supporter of this incoming government. And I respect that. On other shows, a lot of people try to mask themselves as intellectual when they know they have a political alignment and they choose not to say it. Or then when you're talking and giving analysis, we can hear the bias in the analysis. So I must applaud you for stating your position. But let me say this. Joseph Boyka, when I ask you that question, it's a trick question because the reality is I have proof from his actions that he is not a man of integrity, nor is he incorruptible. Case in point, these legislators that he called to the Farmington Hotel and they went there, most of these guys agreed that Joseph Boyka called them to the hotel to try to switch their votes. The only contention was that it was not 25,000 that he offered, it was 10,000. So he's trying to employ the same tactics of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf with the brown envelope, with bribing the legislature. And we know that a man who is a man of integrity and is incorruptible would not employ corrupted tactics to get things done. Your character stands for you. It starts with the personal reflection of your character is what it's going to tell you if a person is going to be corrupt or not. So if Joseph Boyka is doing the same thing that we frown upon, Joseph Boyka is employing the same tactics that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did, and we know her government was very corrupt, as Molu said. He's not a man of integrity, and he is not incorruptible. Well, let me say this.
I would just add that this is your thought. It doesn't mean
these are facts. These are facts. These are news that's coming out and has been verified. Has been verified. The representative themselves, not me. The people, first-hand people say yes, they went and met with Joseph Boyka, but he didn't offer them no 25,000. It was 10,000 that he offered them.
Can you reference something factual, like a hard copy or recording somewhere?
When I finish my statement, yeah, Mr. Gaiman have that we share on the show here.
The people interview live. What other proof do you want?
So I don't know if you're in the loop. You're supposed to be this great Joseph Boyka supporter and a journalist. It seems like you're out of the loop when these things are happening.
No.
Representative Barway from Grand Cruz.
I need to find out from you. I just want to authenticate what you said.
Listen, sir. Listen, Representative Barway from Grand Cruz. Okay, he says he called 2 news conferences. He said he misspoke for the $25,000, but it was not 25,000 he got, but they said 5,000. Mr. Tower, go ahead. Mr. Tower.
Yeah, Guy. Yes. Oh, yeah. Am I muted?
No, you are not muted.
Okay.
We are talking about the elections, election in the House and elections in the Senate. The consequences of elections.
The election in the House and in the Senate. This is how I see it, right? Who are these people that if they win some position, that it will reflect anything good for the country? The same Kofa, the same Inauguration, the same so for me, it's not so much about whether it is CDC guys that want more or Unity Party in this stuff. It's the fact that they're all corrupt. Because and this is why these are the same guys that are in the House that under them they allow the numbers, Mr. Gaiman. How many concessions, Boca's concession?
66 out of 68.
Yes, 66. That's the same guys. That's the same. Normally, that's the same for Nati. That's the same people. So them moving to a higher position so that they can get more bribe. Really, it's a loss to the country. So this is the problem that we have. You guys are passing bills that they have never even read. They passed a bill, 8 p.m. terminal. They say, we're going to call the guy who is the boss. We're going to subpoena him. And they came and they say, they said, wait, the bill we signed was that in? Yeah, you signed it so that we take over the port and we're going to charge more money and we're going to steal from you guys. Pretty much that's what it was. And they signed that. or the Asla Metal store that they're now fighting over. They sign all kinds of stuff. So it's the same people. So I don't think our focus for me should be so much on who is assigned to which position. It should be how clean the people are in terms of at least trying to want to do the right thing for the country. Because you see all the CDC guys and all the COFA and all these people, my brother, when push comes to shove, when Boakai is not in office and they're controlling the COFA, you will see all kinds of stuff passing. But I have a serious qualm with COFA. And it's not because any of the stuff that happened to him here in the US, but it was because I followed something that happened when he was, I think before he became deputy speaker, when he was deputy speaker. The people from Europe, America, the Western guys, Sweden or Finland, what interest do these people have in our culture, in our tradition? That they try to label our culture and our tradition harmful cultural practices. And Kofa was one of those people that were trying to take this to the floor for them to ban our practices, but at the same time, they were built in front of them for them to have a man marrying a man and a woman marrying a woman. That is completely foreign to us, coming from the West, and that none of them could even openly challenge that. So these are some of the problems we are having. So these guys, it doesn't matter whether it's a COFA, whether they're pro-Tem or whatever they are, none of them have any good interest for that country. Gentlemen, as I said again, the way this whole stuff is set up is corrupt. Gay men, even me and you, if we enter that area, will be corrupt because the stuff is the default mode. That is how this whole governing system is set up. People that run the government are not elected. They sit on the outside. They influence things. They move money around. So, because I'm making this point, this is what we have now. But it should be our wish as Africans for us to look within our own culture. We have very good governing system in our culture, Mr. Gayman. You grew up there. This idea that native people, country people, and this one civilized. But what type of culture or that is destroying us? It's the so-called educated, it's the so-called Western, it's the so-called civilized culture. They're the one committing all the corruption. Is their concept that is destroying us. From the so-called every form of governing is what you will call native or is what you will call cultural. If you take a white person getting married with a gown, that is traditional Western marriage. They want to tell us that is civilized and ours where you pay dowry and all this stuff. So this is where we are with this. So we can fight from now to Judgment Day. All of them that are ascending to whatever position, I don't really have interest in it because I know that they don't have any good intention. And just one last small point. Yeah, real quick, my brother. All of us here into Legend, we want to move around here on whether the person had the intention. Politics is not about intention; it's about results. No matter how good, what intention you have doesn't matter. We need to see outcomes. Tangible, applicable results.
Thank you. Mr. Padmore.
So we should hold these guys.
Mr. Padmore, we agree that by the law, we're not suggesting, Mr. Legend, I want you to listen to this. The law in Liberia says before any elected officer takes office, they have to declare their assets.
Rightfully
so. And Mr. Joseph Boakai said that on BBC, we just played a clip, that he will set the trend that Liberia, under his administration, he will declare his asset, publish it, and everybody else that works in his government, because everybody he's going to appoint will be men and women of integrity. We got few hours, like me, like you. When your car note is due on the 15th, you make sure before there's any glitches, emailing or anything, you send a few days before, just in case. The Unity Party are telling us, gave us to 11:59 tomorrow. You can't hold us responsible. You got to wait until 11:59 tomorrow. That's the leadership, but that's for another day.
But give me 1 second. Only 1 second. I want to just say something real quick. 1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So whenever I was answering Morris and you, Gaiman, when I said that what Morris has said about the process leading to Ambassador Boakai being accused of trying to bribe some guys. The reason why I said that, and I wrote it in the comment, because a guy who I shared Spoon late night show with Anthony's in the comment section, and he kind of like questioned something. I said to him that there are two sides to every story. If you did journalism, there are two sides to every story. Not because I heard the side of whoever you are inferring that person from Grand Bassa, it means it holds water. And here's the proof. In the comment section, Lane Lacroix just wrote that you were accused, you were accused of being on CDC payroll, meaning prior to election when they were campaigning and what have you. And I don't buy into that as an intelligent person, but he's alleging that you were accused of being, or people have accused you, Gaiman, of being on CDC payroll. Something I do not subscribe to, I'm not knowledgeable of. But I'm just pointing to me that people can say anything inflammatory about anybody. Anyone can say anything, inflammatory to defame somebody. But there has to be a balanced reporting. That's why in journalism, when you go and hear one side of the story, you go and authenticate the story from the other side, and you have a balanced report. Then you can.
Mr. Wisha, let me burst your bubble. Mo Ali confirm it. Mo Ali confirm it that they offer 5,000.
Listen, Mr. Legend.
No, I'm just saying.
Mr. Legend, relax. You've been too stressful. Relax.
No, not by any
stretch. You got 6 years to sweat. Don't worry. Listen to this. In American politics, they say when you eat a whole, stop digging. Okay? You are talking about accusation. Listen, you are talking about accusation here from the opposition. You have never seen a sedition. You've never seen somebody from the administration say, yes, we gave money, or we acknowledge that. But listen to this. But we are talking about a spokesperson for the United Party, Mr. Mo Ali, saying it was $5,000. We are talking about how much. What other proof do you want, Mr. Padmore? Before we go to the next one, I think we said here, I saw Mr. President-elect Joseph Boakai with a new company in Liberia. They call it the Traffic Management System. He says the WIA government denied the contract and the proposal from the traffic management system, but he is willing to do that. So the first thing he's going to do is award the contract to the traffic management system. What is happening here is Joseph Boakai is breaking the law again from the get-go. Traffic management, license plate, licensing are all statutory responsibility of the Ministry of Transport. How can you usurp the statutory responsibility of the transport ministry and give it as a contract to a friend of yours or people whom you trust? How would that jive in the court of law, Mr. Padmore?
Well, it just goes to show once again that this government does not know what they're doing. Joseph Boakai does not have the constitutional power to award contracts in Liberia. There's a law. It has to go through the PPCP, right? Before they collect the bid, they make a decision, and the president going out and meeting with these people before the PPCC has had an opportunity to evaluate these people, it tips the scale. So let's say, for example, if Jerome wanted to counter a bid, you finish losing. You got the president in his hand. You can sue in court. You can actually sue in court for unfair treatment.
Yeah.
But once again, it just shows, when people thought about giving the contract to the old man, there were a couple of things that they held on to. The first one was wisdom. Oh, the paper full of wisdom. He know what to do. He been in government for the last 47 years. So he know how it works. That is the change we are going to see. And we still have yet to see that change. We still have yet to see that change. Just stumbling. Baby trying to walk, just stumbling. And it's sad. It's not reassuring at all. It's worrisome. And this is all before he has taken seat. That is the part that gets to me. He's not even president yet. He's already stumbling. Can you imagine what happened when a man became president? And the real big boys start to put money in front of him to get government contracts? Because when I need money, they pay money, the traffic contract, I want money. But when the real boys start coming to him,
Wologisi is in danger, Mr. Palmo. Wologisi Mountain in danger already. Don't wait.
I'm making an unnecessary statement like that.
I want to joke. Don't take it seriously, but I want to joke.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of On Point. We have with me Mr. Joseph Tower from Houston, Texas. We have Mr. Pat Moore. We have Mr. Morris from the Twin City. Mr. Legend, where you calling from?
Oh, I'm currently doing a contractual work in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, we got Mr. Legend from Columbus. But where do you live?
Maryland. My home is Maryland.
Oh, Maryland, Canada. Okay, great. So he's in the same vicinity with Jimmy Eastman and Aliyu Kamara. I see Aliyu Kamara here, the Unity Party, sending me, I'm too busy to be on today. This is the Unity Party, they're busy, they can't come on today. But Mr. Legend, thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show.
Are we drawing the curtains?
We got 10 minutes here to go.
Huh? Only 140 today.
Are we drawing the curtains? Are we drawing down the curtains?
No, listen, we got 10 minutes to go here.
So the last topic that my brother Pamo, I would love to give even two
we got 10 minutes closing. Listen, we got 10 minutes here. We gave everybody 2 minutes to close. So, Mr. Legend, you've been the newest kid on the block. Hopefully, you come back next Sunday after your administration come to power. I know it's rough swimming off stream, but you can come back. In your closing, you got 2 minutes. You can address anything else we have not addressed and say what you want to say to the Liberian people in 2 minutes.
Fortunately, I was following you all very fluid show so far, and I was following you guys, so I could already deduce that you all were heavily leaning toward the outgoing government. So I knew I was coming in a hostile, not literally, but I knew I was coming in right. Figuratively, I knew I was coming in a hostile or home or environment. So I'm not surprised. But in any event, back to the conclusion where my brother Pamo left off. Listen, anything this incoming government does or is doing, you all who are or were aligned with George Weah's government, you're not going to be satisfied. You want for things, and that's understandable because we who were opposed, when I was opposed to George Weah, I wanted to see things done the right way, which I knew he wasn't going to make a good president, and he never made a good president. There are a plethora of things I can point my hand to today for which reason George Weah failed as a very popular man. He could not even get a second term. I mean, it doesn't take a genius, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to deduce that George Weah was not a good president in his 6 years. But we've moved past that. I am looking forward to this government coming in and outdoing George Weah's government so that CDC can eventually be extinct from our, don't forget, they have a good base, but when I say extinct, not literally, I know if this government does well, under no circumstance can CDC win in 2029, which they are hoping to come back in 2029. But if this government does well, I do not see how CDC can come back and win another election. They might end up being like, what they call it, and National Patriotic Party or National some kind of those party, NDPL. They might be one of those. If this government does well, I'll retire on this. If this government does well, there is no way on God's earth, logically, CDC will resurface in 2029 and win an election. I do not see that. And I stand with that from the day I threw myself out there to now. Like I like to conclude, long live our common patrimony in Liberia. It is always my ardent hope that as we grow in age, we'll continuously grow in wisdom. All we do here is love for country. We may have diverse views, we may differ on issues, but I strongly believe that we love Liberia dearly. That's why we throw our weight and our voices out there. I appreciate you all for the show.
Thank you. Mr. Tao.
Yes. First, I want to clarify something. I don't belong to any of the political parties. I don't support parties. I don't even support individuals. I support the ideology that they have in terms of how they handle and run the country. So I'm not, if you think I'm not one of those, I've been on the show. I point out what the we are government is doing wrong, what Ellen. But you say hopefully this government does well. Yeah. Hope is one thing. But guess what? We are came to power because the Ellen government did not do well. You see, people don't understand this. But a lot of the problems that we are having right now, the failures that you saw on we are, a lot of it, the foundation, the way Ellen shackled the country, that even if we are intended to even try some good stuff, he couldn't even do it. No debt forgiveness that they say they brought in, that made them to seal your foreign reserve, allocate all your resources in the hands of Western corporations, so that then you have nothing that you have to constantly run back to the World Bank to go credit. So look at what happened. The Boakai government have already started very badly, and I doubt it that they will do well. So guess what? I think your hope might have an issue because I think that the CDC might pretty much come back to power because they will fail. But guys, to really close, I don't really have that much hope, or I don't even have any hope at all in the political structure in the way in which it's run. And I want to point this out. The so-called international community don't give a crap about the Africans or about the Liberians. When they impose sanctions, it's not for us. If they bring people to say they're going to come to the inauguration, because I already started hearing people, international law, Boakai government, that don't mean anything. That we are government, they didn't come for inauguration, they want to come in, and we are caught up in the order. It don't mean anything. How many diplomats came on Ellen? What did you get out of it? Nothing. So I don't see any hope in any of this stuff. It's going to be corrupt.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Elvis, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Look, Mr. Wisse, the fact that you have the unmitigated goals to call for the premature demise of the indomitable and mighty coalition. I mean, I can't even tell you how disgusted I am with you. We need at least a two-party system, a two viable party system in Liberia. And CDC had survived in the opposition for 12 years. Joseph Boakai made $280,000 a year in base salary, times that by 12. That's over $3 million. And he squandered it and living on loans. And now his house is being refurbished by people other than himself. And you say this is a man of integrity and it's incorruptible. That's laughable. The reality is that we will hold this government feet to the fire as long as we have breath and we have the privilege of being on this platform. We will hold their feet to the fire. This is not a hostile den where we don't encourage, divergent views. Mr. Kamara is on the show. Even Mr. Padmore, he was on another side than myself and Mr. Gaiman. So we encourage diverse views on like some other shows. But at the same time, we won't let you get away when you say ridiculous statements like Joseph Boakai had 5,000 in a town, then 2 million got there. You don't see no problem with that. That's a statement that we all have to push back on. So for me, I welcome you to be on the show. It's great to interact with you. But to say that the CDC would die a premature death, let's wait and see what happens when Boakai leaves office. By the grace of God, if he leaves office in 2029, then we will know who's going to be surviving in opposition. But it's a great show, and I thank you for having me on, Mr. Gibbon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Padmore.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. We said so good of you joining us, man. Come back again. We would like to hear different views. I'm glad you're not new to the happenings in Liberia. So it's good. It's good. The show was good. You know, we have many concerns with this incoming government. Like we say that, bro, when it's slip by you, when you see warrants coming, you are concerned. So we have reasons to be concerned. We just want what's best for Liberia. And right now, the way how things are starting, we don't see that. You know, people keep telling, oh wait, just wait small, just wait, you know, and we've been waiting a long time, man. You know, we want change in our lifetime. In our lifetime, we want change. We want Liberia that we can all be proud of, that we can go back to, you know, and, you know, we can sit on the piazza, enjoy the breeze, you know, the thing what Babylon did, we want to do it in Liberia too, you know, and so for me, that what drives me a lot. But anyway, good show. Hopefully next week we'll be here. The first edition after the Joseph inauguration. It'll be very interesting. Hopefully by then we'll have the first list of appointments out, and we'll have a lot to talk about. I look forward to that time. But until then, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we declare who we are here. We are not undercover. I have been a supporter of the CDC government from day one. I am an unabashed supporter of the CDC. Everybody knows that. There's no apologies there. Everything that I predicted have become past, has actually become true. I told you Joseph Boakai was corrupt. I told you Joseph Boakai would be a failure. I told you that Joseph Boakai was a fraud. A fraud definition in the dictionary says a man or person who wants to deceive people by misrepresenting the facts for political gain. That's what he said he was not going to do. That's what he has done. The bombastic President Weah, they say after 6 months after his power came to power, he built homes. Joseph Boakai didn't even wait for 6 months. Joseph Boakai said he was tired with everything President Weah was doing. When he gave money out, he said, Weah project. Before he even took power, he went and get $10 million on behalf of himself and his wife. To the chagrin of Yaka Koluba, he said, this is like a flashback. We just said, Joe, we shouldn't do this, and now here we are, Joseph Boakai doing this. Joseph Boakai called legislators to his house to bribe them, to give them the seat. The people said, no, this is the power of the new class of politicians in Liberia that Joe Weah has developed. That $5,000, $20,000 will not move them. This is the change we are talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Boakai is in disarray as it stands today. We don't know who's in the country. We are not hearing from the own party that contracts are going outside of the country. Things like speakers, things like a stage being built in Sierra Leone, money going to Guinea and Ghana that who are being in Liberia. When he said, love Liberia, build Liberia in the arrest system. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not optimistic. When he does well, we'll tell you. But as it stands, everything now is being dark. Dark money, dark relationship, dark everything, and we're going to find human heads rolling in Liberia in the darkness. I told you this before. I don't want to be a sis, I don't want to be a soothsayer, but it is evident that the Liberian people were smart enough to give President Joseph Boakai elect a divided government. This is where Joseph Boakai will have to show whether he has the balls, he has the brains, he has the chagrin to come in and negotiate, not shove it down our throat. This is why you saw in the Senate, President Weah education initiative is being overseen by the great Senator McGill. He is the chair of education. Ladies and gentlemen, these things didn't just happen in a vacuum. This is what we call political steamrolling. CDC taught the Unity Party how politics is done. Until then, we'll see you next Sunday. We'll be here. Mr. Tabo will be here, he promised. Mr. Elvis promised he would be here. My co-host, Mr. Padma, is always here. Mr. Legend, today was a bad day. You were off point, but you can come back tomorrow. You can be a permanent. You can be a permanent. I want you to be permanent. Be a permanent staff.
Don't make that analogy again because you really threw everything away with that analogy.
That's why.
The other two United parties, you say, one say They got problem with their connection right here in Washington, D.C.
Yes,
and
okay.
one say he was too busy today.
But if
So
I want to ask you just now, you just threw out the word of fraud or fraudulent
Yes.
against DMB.
Yes,
But if
yes.
I want to ask you, General, was George Weah or George Weah government fraudulent or corrupt? You're probably going to say no, right?
Listen,
Yeah, there was element George Weah government that was corrupt. I can say that for free.
We are not talking in the past. This is why
Oh,
you
we
say
are now.
you were coming in. Everything will be rosy. Everything will be a
Yeah,
new.
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as usual.
We are taking over from a bad government. We will
Huh?
have some. We are taking over from a bad government, so we expect to have some serious challenges on our hands.
For excuse, they're all looking for excuses before they even get there.
And somebody told me it's feasible to have
been a great show here today. We say we will close our show as we always do. We say we are all Liberians, no matter who you are, whether you corrupt like Joseph Boakai, or you are a legend like George Weah, or you are a smart man like Mr. Padmo, or a brilliant tactician like Elvis Morris. We are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.